So I'm thankful to organizers for inviting me here and allowing me to share my views with you all. Law is very important in medical practice. Whatever you have learned, if that fails, when that knowledge fails, when that particular treatment fails, the law comes into action. So you have to be well versed with the law. Now ART has become law and it is no more a guideline. And what is the difference between law and a guideline? Guideline is something which is for your good. It is like something which your mother tells you to do. If you do it, it is fine. If you don't do it, it is fine. Law is something which your wife tells you to do. That means you have to do it. Otherwise, there is punishment behind it. So, the topic given to me is ART law, reform gain or legal strain. Law is very new. We are not at a stage of deciding the gain and strain, but at least see what change it has brought in. And if you will see the change, you yourself can decide whether it is a gain or a strain. So, lawless state and the lawful state has basic difference. This is lawless state is like bachelor life. You can do whatever you want to do. But the law, when the law comes in, it is like a married life. You have to behave, right? So that is what it is all about. Now, we have seen this. Now, what was the practice before the law? This is how people used to practice. They were happy, enjoying, they were doing whatever was coming in their mind. But the minute it has become law, now there is somebody who is constantly watching you and you cannot practice without following the law. And this is how you are practicing. Right? There is somebody who is constantly watching you. That is the first thing which is. And this is the actual law. Whenever the law is passed by the parliament, it comes in gazette. Don't learn law from hearsay. We usually learn the law from hearsay. Somebody says something, that is how we learn the law. Whatever is written in the Gazette of India, like this, with Indian emblem on the top, that is something which you have to consider as law. Right? And only central government has power to make the law, change the law, amend the law. Nobody can make the law. So these are all the dates when the law came. The law has law, main law and rules. You have to follow both the law as well as the rules. And rules of this date, June 2022, you have to follow. Now, we used to see this type of things, so many advertisements, so many hospitals were coming up. But now, what change it has brought in? One can't open and start running a new ART clinic or ART bank as per his desire or her desire. Why it is so? They have made a section that nobody can start a center without the permission. Now we must understand what is ART clinic or ART bank. They have said what is ART practice. To practice ART, you must know what is the definition of ART. And this is the definition. All technique that attempts to obtain a pregnancy by handling the sperm or oocyte outside the human body and transferring the gamete or the embryo into the reproductive system of the women. Understand these words. If you just handle the gametes, you are not doing ART practice. Many conferences, they used to ask me question that pathology lab are doing semen examination. Do they require registration? They are just handling the gamete. They don't have any intention to putting it back into the female reproductive tract. So that is why they don't require any registration. So you have to understand the definition. So if you are doing any of this or you are running a bank which supplies the gametes, then you are coming under this definition of the law, and section 15 says that no person shall establish any clinic or bank for undertaking ART or to assist or to render the ART technology procedures in any form unless such clinic or bank is duly registered. Very clearly it is mentioned. So you cannot start without you have a license or registration. Many people have started doing it just by applying. And I am defending 2 or 3 hospitals, but I have no defense. It is like you apply for driving license and you start driving next day. It is like that. You can't do that. You must wait till the license comes, or you have to make sure that license comes by pursuing it or by filing case against that officer who is not giving you license. But you cannot start practicing. This is how to apply and all. We are not going into that detail. Now, what are the boards? There is a National ART and Surrogacy Board. They have various functions. There are state appropriate authorities. They have various functions apart from harassing the doctors. And these are the real functions they have given here. Now, what powers they have? They have so much power to summon any person, production of any document, search any place. So many a times doctors are asking me, can they see this? Can they call me? Can they ask me? They have power. Now, what are the things required for registration? That also they have mentioned. These are the minimum requirements. Many a times they are asking more things. Minimum requirements are always minimum. Like in ART clinic 1, if you see level 1 clinic, microscope, centrifuge, refrigerator and sperm counting chamber. But you also require table and chair, right? So that is not mentioned in the law. But they, so appropriate authorities are asking certain things and you have to fulfill that if it is really required. What are the categories? These are the categories and validity, license fees, all is there in this table. Application has to be made. The appropriate authority, if he is satisfied, he has to give you within 30 days. So if he doesn't give within 30 days, you are within your rights to file an appeal, or in the higher, if it is a district, then you can go to the state. If it is state, you can go to the center or you can approach courts. And what all you can do, like ART level 1, only IUI. So up till IUI, whatever is there, you can do. And in level 2, you can do all these procedures. Now, there is also a confusion. Many appropriate authorities are telling that if you have level 2, but if you want to do IUI, you have to pay for level 1 also. They forget that level 2 includes level 1. Why they are saying, why I am saying this? Because they have mentioned in level 2 what you can do. Surgical retrieval of gamete, handling oocyte outside, use the sperm, transfer the embryo into reproductive system of the woman, carry out storage, gamete, embryo, or perform any kind of procedure. Understand these words. That includes IUI. Right? So you have to interpret the law like this. And that is how you can just tell them what to do. They have given definition of gynecologist. The gynecologist is somebody who is having postgraduate in gynecology with 50 ovum pickup procedures and 3 years of experience. And if you have done postgraduate with super specialty like doctorate of medicine or fellowship, then 3 years of experience, with 3 years of experience is required, but 50 pickup is not required. That requirement has gone. Embryologist, you just go through the table and it will tell you what all is the requirement of embryologist. They have given all this requirement and these persons are embryologists. One time measure, they have said only graduate will be allowed with 5 years of experience and who have performed 500 ICSI procedures. Counselor, that also anesthetist, director, all these posts they have said. Now, at what place, what procedure you can do? Level 1, IUI with husband or donor sperm. Level 2, you can do all this, self-oocyte, husband sperm, self-oocyte, donor oocyte, self-oocyte, donor sperm, donor oocyte, donor husband sperm. All these combinations you can do. Donor oocyte, donor sperm, that also you can do. In surrogacy, embryo transfer in surrogate. So whenever you intend to transfer embryo into surrogate, you require a surrogacy license as well. Now, see this video. And what I am telling you is a false claim, right? So that used to happen. No fake claims are allowed now. Why? Because it is mentioned in the duty of the ART clinic and ART bank that the clinic shall obtain the gamete from this bank, and they have said that they will provide professional counseling about implication and chances of success. So you have to tell the real chances to them, and it is duty given by way of consent taking. Now, selection of the patient is specific now. We have seen in the past all this news, right? The same-sex couple or old couple or very old couple, they were all blessed with the treatment of Dr. So-and-so, and this all news we used to see. But now in the law, they have said commissioning couple means infertile married couple. they have mentioned married word also. And it is our duty at least to check whether they are married or not. And there are so many cases going on where the couple, they are not actually married, or they are going through divorce, they come through somebody else and they get pregnant. There is a case, very interesting case in Mumbai, where a lady came with some person. She said, I am married, and she got the IUI done. She became pregnant. Actually, she was undergoing divorce with her original husband. Now, under Indian Evidence Act, it is said that if the woman is pregnant or delivers within validity of the marriage or within 9 months of the divorce, the child will be the legitimate child of the couple. Now, if she is pregnant, she will get 20 crore alimony or the money during the divorce. If she is not pregnant, she will get only 10 crore. So she wanted to become pregnant, and that is why she came with the boyfriend and she got it done. So husband filed case against that hospital and the doctor and the wife that they are all doing cheating against me to extract more money from me, and they are doing fraud. Also, he has filed complaint in ART appropriate authority that this center has done IUI without my consent. I am the husband. And the center is given a notice that why you have done IUI without proving that that person is a husband. So show cause notice is given. So you have to prove marriage. Now how to prove marriage? You tell me. See, in normal parlance, you can say that if the female is having bindi, she is having kumkum in partition, she is wearing Mangal Sutra, she is wearing sari, she is married. And for man, if he is sitting quiet in a corner, he is married. Right? We know. But that doesn't work in law. You must have some proof. And what is the proof of marriage? You must have marriage certificate or Aadhaar card having mentioning wife of so and so, or you should have a ration card where wife's name is mentioned, or passport where spouse name is mentioned. You have to prove it by some way. Right? So that is what you have to be very serious about. Don't consider everybody who is walking in as married. Also, they have said that clinic shall apply assisted reproductive technology service to female between 21 to 50 years and male 21 to 55 years. Now again, in law, the boundary is fixed. In medicine, we are always taught in range. If you know that, like hemoglobin, so 10 to 15, sugar, so 80 to 120, we are always taught in range, right? Normal blood pressure, so 80 to 100, like we are taught in range. But in law, there is no range. 21 years means 21st birthday, midnight 12, she becomes 21 years. 50 years means 50th birthday, midnight 12, he crosses 50, right? So that is how it is. You have to be very specific. If they cross the age, don't do it. Then infertility also they have defined. Infertility definition should be fulfilled. That inability to conceive after 1 year of unprotected coitus or other proven medical condition preventing couple from conception. You cannot start giving treatment without having proven infertility. Now, donation of the gametes, its distribution, and though there was ICMR guideline, in ICMR all these things were there. That is there in people's mind. It has gone now, right? You can't do this. Now, what is the thing? Even multiple times donation from the same donor is an issue. Eggs from minor is an issue. Even up to 100 eggs people used to take. I am auditing ART clinics since last 13 years. And all these things used to happen. That is why the law has come. Law has not come without any evidences. So all these things used to happen, and that is why they have put a first restriction that only bank will supply, and they have changed in the act and the rules. In the act, it was said that bank will supply oocyte and sperm both. But then all the organizations represented to the government that it is impossible for the bank to supply oocytes. So they have allowed to supply the donor to the clinic instead of the oocyte. So they have mentioned that consent is important, insurance is important, and all this should start before starting the stimulation. I have seen insurance being taken on the day of pickup or just 1 day prior to pickup. The process has already started, right? Process has already started. And stimulation, pickup starts from stimulation. So no insurance company will give money. And that is what has happened recently. So please be very careful about that. Even couple had to give a letter that if insurance will not pay, we will pay. And that previously it was made to be signed by the magistrate. Now they have said that notary will be allowed. But to that also, it has to be before stimulation. It can't be after stimulation. The clinic and bank shall not cryopreserve any human embryo or gamete without consent. And this happens many a times. The husband or somebody is writing to the clinic that please destroy the embryo, we are in divorce. Then you can't transfer, right? The consent of all the involved party is required. Now, bank has to obtain donor oocyte from female between 23 to 35 years of age. And for male, 21 to 55 years of age. Also, they have said that a bank shall not supply the sperm or oocyte of a single donor to more than one commissioning couple. So, a bank has to supply oocyte donor only once, because I am coming to that. Semen donor, once the sample is given, one sample is one ejaculate. It may be 1 vial, 2 vial, 5 vial, whatever it is, it has to be given to one couple. But for female, there is one more restriction. They have also said oocyte donor shall donate oocytes only once in her lifetime. That is not there for male. Male can donate multiple times. And not more than 7 oocytes shall be retrieved. Only 7 you have to take. So this you have to keep in mind. All unused oocytes, that means from 7, unused from 7, shall be preserved by the bank for use on the same recipient or given for research purpose. So this circular had come. In that circular, also they have further mentioned that manner of retrieving oocyte. What they have said, for retrieving oocyte from the donor, the clinic shall make effort to retrieve not more than 7 oocytes during one cycle, provided that clinic shall retrieve all follicles. You have to take all the follicles, but you have to retrieve only 7 oocytes. So if there are 15 follicles, you take 15 follicles, but oocyte you have to retrieve only 7. That is what they have mentioned. So now this was the issue. You just see this video and they are taking out babies after babies, babies after babies. That was the issue before the law. This is lawlessness. And what change it has brought in now? Transfer of embryos. And for transfer of embryos, they very clearly mention that not more than 3 embryos should be transferred, and no treatment with the embryos made from more than one man or women in any one cycle. Do not mix semen of 2 individuals. No splitting of embryos. And posthumous collection of the gamete shall be done only if prior consent of the commissioning couple is there. Recently, I got one request. The husband suddenly got heart attack and they said, the family said that can we take these sperms? We have done it in past in Gujarat. Gujarat High Court gave permission in just 1 day to retrieve sperms, but they also said that just retrieve the sperm, freeze the sperm, don't make embryos. Because it is person's wish to have children or not. What if both of them are not doing well? What if the wife only has given poison to husband? We don't know. And he doesn't want to give her property or his property to the children of her. So it is always a succession act which is acting behind this ART Act. Understand that. Why people want children? Because they can't take their property in the heaven. They want to give it to the children. Otherwise, nobody will require children. They will take it to heaven. Right? So always think this from this perspective. Even so, they have mentioned that not more than 3 oocytes or embryo may be placed, and they have said that gynecologist shall transfer 1 or 2 embryos in the uterus, depending upon the medical condition, provided that only in exceptional circumstances, as advanced maternal age, recurrent miscarriage, recurrent implantation failure, or any other such condition, 3 embryos should be transferred. So otherwise, you can't transfer 3. Embryo and gamete storage, cell, and transfer from one clinic to another. Now, what they have said here, the gamete of the donor or embryo shall be stored in a period not more than 10 years. Gamete of a donor or embryo. So gamete of a donor. If donor gamete is preserved, 10 years. Self gamete you can preserve for more than 10 years. Because the fertility preservation is also a aim. And cell transfer and use of zygote or embryo, what they have said, cell and transfer is not allowed. It is allowed only with the permission of the national board. So only national board has power to give permission, then only you can shift the embryos. I have seen one center, they were sending embryos to another center of their own to get embryo biopsy done, and they used to bring the embryos back. That is transfer of embryo. Right? So you can't do that. But people don't have that idea. They say that it is our same institute, it is mother institute. Whatever it is. In the eyes of law, these are two different individuals. You can't do that. Anonymity of the donor. Anonymity has now gone. Why it was required before? Because in the past, there was no law. Now if somebody can prove that my genes are there in this person, he becomes his father or he becomes his child or mother. That is why anonymity was very much required. But now the law says very clearly that if child is born through assisted reproductive technology shall be a biological child of the commissioning couple, and they also said a donor shall relinquish all the parental right over the child. It is very clearly mentioned. So anonymity is not required. It is like now Adoption Act. In adoption we used to know that this child belongs to this couple, but it is given for adoption. So now there is no need for anonymity. Only if donor wants to remain anonymous, you have to respect that. So in form 13 it is mentioned, if applicable. That means if donor wants to remain anonymous, you have to maintain anonymity. Documentation. It is very important. You must have all these forms. Form number 6, form number 7, form number 8, form number 9, form number 10. And what is more important, that I have given here as a table, in which condition what all forms to be filled. These are the legal consents that you must take. There are medical consents also that you have to take over and above the legal consent. Sex selection and embryo biopsy. They have said that pre-implantation genetic diagnosis means genetic diagnosis when one or both genetic parents have some known genetic abnormality. And this was very confusing. Pre-implantation genetic testing has to be done. Testing shall be used to screen the human embryo for known pre-existing heritable and genetic disease. So people used to think that it is only if parents are having, then only you can do it. They have not said known in parents, known to medical world, known to this human, known to the humankind, mankind. That is what the meaning is. You can do it because it is a screening test. You can do it for anybody, but not for sex selection purpose. The main purpose of this entire section is to prevent sex selection. So do not do sex selection through this. In PCPNDT punishment is 3 years. Here it is 10 years in ART. So there are various punishments. As I told you, law means if you don't follow anything, the punishment is there. And they have made this section. Whoever contravenes any of the provision of this act or rule, then the punishment will be 5 to 10 lakh rupees fine. And for subsequent offense, 3 to 8 years of jail. So whatever I have said, if you do not follow, the punishment is simple 8 years of jail. So you have to be very careful. If you are doing embryo transfer without the consent, you are not checking whether they are married or not, or if you are starting a center without license, punishment is 3 to 8 years. That is the simplest form of punishment they've given, and jail is a good place. They give you food, they give you work, they give you clothes, they give you recreational activities, and they give you Z security. If they present you in the court, 4 police officers will be there. Today you all must have come alone, right? There will be 4 officers with you. And you get to see your spouse once in 15 days. What more a government can do for you? Right? That much they are doing if you don't follow the law. Now, so small mistake can lead to a big trouble. You have to be very careful. So you must know the law. If you know the law, if you follow the law, then if somebody is coming to you, some officer, you will become slow down because you have something very strong in your hand, right? The knowledge of the law. And if you want to be 100% safe from medico-legal problem, you can start your band, you can become photographer, you can join Bollywood, Hollywood, you can join some Baba, or you can join Dawood Abraham. There are various career options, right? So I always say that only way to live, to come out of medico-legal problem is to run away and leave medical practice. But that is not possible, right? I always say that you may learn some asana to diagnose your own piles if you follow Baba Ramdev, right? But it is impossible to be out of medico-legal problem while being in a medical practice. My teacher used to tell that if you are not perforating a single uterus, you are not doing enough MTPs. Similarly, I am telling you, if you are not receiving a single notice, you are not having enough practice. So law is, or notice, legal action are part and parcel of our practice. Only thing is, we have to be prepared for the same. So never think of leaving ART practice. Problems are everywhere. Whatever you take, there is a problem. Also, you must have some kind of indemnity insurance. Insurance is very much important. It will at least save you from the civil cases which are filed against you, and there are 6 to 7 cases of failed cycles and not getting result and all this. There are cases going on. So you have to be very careful. And this is our insurance which we have started. It is little different, like we are all medico-legal people. So if you are busy in your practice, we will be behind you to take care of you, and you can do your work and we will do our work. So that is what we have devised. If medico-legal problem happens, you have to take medical, legal and medico-legal advice. Why medico-legal advice? Because the general advocates, they don't understand medical language. Like there was one board, only tennis shoes allowed on the court. And one lady went there with only tennis shoes. That is what happens with the advocates who don't understand our language. And they don't understand our action. Why this was done, why that was done. Like this lady, she's in some foreign country and you know that she requires something, right? From her action. But he did not get it. Right? So that is what happens with general advocates. And what medico-legal person will do, see, you have done some mistake, some negligence, he can't change it, right? But if you go to a medico-legal person, what he can do at best of his abilities, he will put evidences in such a way that in front of magistrate, he will be saying, that much he can do. So you must have proper documents. You may look for the things very far off, but actually it is very near. Similarly, if you at all need me, I'll be just around the corner. Do not panic. Do not keep concentrating on a problem which has happened. You may harm the other normal case. And just continue your journey. Not only walking, but dancing like this baby. Have stress-free practice. And to have stress-free practice, you must practice to remain stress-free. Thank you very much.